Health authorities have revealed that 6 Australian swine flu patients are in intensive care, with 2 of those needing help to breathe. At the same time, experts have warned that people with existing breathing problems are especially vulnerable to the disease that's claimed more than 140 lives worldwide.
It isn't quite the trip of a lifetime that these young lacrosse players were hoping for. Shortly after these photos were taken, the Australian under-21 team was put in strict quarantine in a hotel 1 hour north of Seoul after a member was diagnosed with swine flu.
We're in separate rooms, all the players, and the management and coaching staff. The management and coaching staff are able to interact with the players in their own room, as long as we keep our masks on.
They're being treated well with room service 3 times a day, but they aren't allowed to leave their rooms or socialise together. Around the world, most patients with swine flu have only had mild symptoms, but with the spread of the virus, the death toll has risen to more than 140, and swine flu has claimed its first victim outside the Americas. A woman with other health problems died in this Scottish hospital. In Australia, 6 people remain in intensive care. 3 swine flu patients in Victoria have been in a serious condition since last week. 2 are breathing on ventilators. Authorities aren't releasing many details, but they say not all of the patients in intensive care had underlying health problems before they contracted swine flu. And doctors are warning that people with respiratory problems such as asthma are more at risk of complications.
Based on information from America, about 40% of the admissions to hospital with swine flu have been related to underlying asthma. Asthma is the commonest chronic illness in people in the age range where we're seeing swine flu.
Young people with asthma who develop flu-like symptoms are urged to seek medical advice. Sophie Scott, ABC News.
In South Australia, 5 schools have now been affected by swine flu outbreaks. The number of positive cases in the state has risen to 65, with 6 more people diagnosed since yesterday.
A 17-year-old girl at Westminster School at Marion tested positive last night. Year 11 classes were immediately cancelled for a week. A 15-year-old boy was diagnosed last week, and now 220 of the high school's 700 students are in home quarantine. The move could put Year 11 and 12 mid-year exams in doubt.
We will certainly have some students possibly taking exams at home, or we'll be looking at alternative forms of assessment for those students.
Keeping her distance today, quarantined Year 11 student Katrina says the shutdown is a novelty to her classmates.
It's a new experience, so yeah, everyone's pretty excited about it, I guess.
The southern unit of the Kidman Park Primary School has also been closed until Friday after 2 boys aged 5 and 7 were found to have the virus. The health department is confident the pair will recover.
Children are a group who at risk, in particular under 5-year-olds, so these are over 5.
The opposition has criticised the handling of a swine flu case at the Flinders Medical Centre last week. It says a pregnant woman with flu symptoms was placed in the obstetrics ward while she waited on the results of a swine flu test.
It is not acceptable to have the person who is a suspected contaminated person to be placed in exposure to others.
She had gastro. Because she was pregnant, she was admitted into the hospital. After being admitted into the hospital, she was in a ward with other patients. She developed fever-like symptoms.
Mr Hill says the woman was isolated as soon as she returned a positive test, and no other patients or staff have shown symptoms. And the Catholic Church has now ordered a temporary ban on giving communion via the chalice to try to limit the risk of cross-infection. Alex Parry, ABC News, Adelaide.